Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome back to another Beta Bear 9000 video. Today, we're looking at Xenoverse 2 is dying. Here's how to fix it. By this guy, Burkall. So, we're going to see if we like it, see if we end up subbing, see if we end up agreeing or disagreeing, or finding somewhere in the middle, as all good conversations go.
The updates, infrequent updates, the servers not actually working, or people just not playing or playing as much. Unfortunately, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is dying, and it has been dying for a little bit of time. Xenoverse 2 is my favorite video game of all time, and it's not even close.
That's bold. That's bold. Um, hey, favorite video game of all time? I don't know if he just didn't add the context of Dragon Ball games, because if we're talking Dragon Ball games, you can make an argument. Okay, you can make an argument. But if we're talking in general, video games ever of all time, that's a hot, hot, hot take. Because it's not even objectively a good game compared to most games. Now, I want to look at this, right? Because you might have seen in some of the previous videos that have come out before this that I've had this tab up here of Steam charts, which we will update in a moment. However, I want to first see when. God damn it. Oh, I'm going to go over here to type. Okay, so it was released in 2016. So it is this year, it is going on its ninth year being available. And on Steam alone, if we refresh the Steam charts, as of 25 minutes ago, 712 players, 848 for the past 24 hours, and all time 13,570. To be fair, that's not great. Just as a base number, it's not great. Granted, this is only on Steam. It could be different on the consoles. I don't really know a way of checking that, but if you guys know, go ahead and let me know. And maybe we'll add that to a future video. But it looks like it's pretty consistent on Steam. People are playing the game. I'm sure some of this is the modding community, because it does have a small modding community that adds like different transformations and abilities and shows off like what potential things could look like. But yeah,
Xenoverse 2 has given me infinitely more than I've given it. With that said, although Xenoverse 2 is very clearly dying, it's not too late. In this video, I'll be going over some of the things that can help increase the player base, fix the game, and just make it a once again thriving Dragon Ball game.
so one of the things that I know is like, okay, so I do still play Xenoverse 2. Um, you could definitely call me a casual. Okay, the only time I'm really popping in there is if I'm wanting something brainless to do. Um, or they release an update that has a fucking transformation. However, lately, all the updates have been cosmetic. None of them actually usable in game. That is the way to keep your players engaged. Um, because if you would look, I don't know when they released it, but when they released Ultra Instinct, when they released Beast Form, when they released Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, all of those releases, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, all of those releases saw a significant increase in player activity because people want to play these forms. We have been asking Bandai over and over and over and over, like beating a dead horse. Like, when are we gonna get these forms? And what is annoying is the fact that there is two auras in the game that I have anyway. There may be more, there may not be more, I don't know. But there is a legendary Super Saiyan aura, which is fucking annoying because that's a fucking transformation everybody's wanted. And there is a Rose aura of another form that we also fucking wanted, and we didn't get it. They could give us Orange Piccolo. They haven't given us an Orange Piccolo. Okay, you could give us both Piccolo transformation. I don't know, call it Namekian evolution or some shit. Um, I mean, like the little like headline, little storyline, Namekian evolution, where you have to do some stuff with the Namek side of the Dragon Balls because that's already like going here to the Namek lookout and doing those fucking goddamn Dragon Ball missions is like the most tedious part of the game that gives you a fucking egg at the end, and it's very annoying. But if you were to tie the bow on that a little bit and add the two transformations that Piccolo gets, the lighter green one, which would basically be like take the shade, whatever shade people built their character as, and then when they transform, it just becomes a lighter version. You literally take it, okay, they have regular purple, you scale it to a light purple, that's your transformation. Give them a little fucking golden aura like Piccolo had in the movie. And then you do the same thing with the orange Piccolo, except you literally make their character orange and you give them the red eyes and then you give them some bulk, you bulk them up, okay? If they're already at the max, create another one that players don't have access to, and that's what their player kind of buffs up to, right? Or just don't even buff them. Just give them the orange. Okay. The transformation is there. I mean, you don't even have to do the buff part. If you don't want to do the buff part because you don't want to allocate that much time, then just do the orange. Just do the orange Piccolo. It's so easy.
Game. Do feel free to let me know
That's what so annoys me about it is the only thing they have to make for that form is literally the aura. Is the only thing they have to make because the red eyes and the orange is already in the game. You just have to apply it.
what you agree or disagree with in the comments and all that good stuff. And yeah, let's get into the video. If you are enjoying the channel, please do consider subscribing and
Subscribe to
leaving
him,
a
subscribe to
like.
me, subscribe to yourself,
About
most importantly.
50% of you watching
Self
this
love is
exact
important these
part
days.
right now are not actually subscribed, so
I'm almost out of
please
water
do.
on Big Set.
And with that said, on to the video. For Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 to continue and to thrive, not just survive, but to actually thrive, they need to actually make the online actually playable. Since the free update came out for Future Saga Chapter 2, also known as DLC 18 for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, something happened. I don't know what it is. There is a chance that it's been fixed. I don't fully know as of right now, but something's happened and they've made it so the online servers just are not working properly, if at all. As you
Yeah, so there could be a couple things here. One of them could be the fact that I think in some ways Xenoverse 2 is kind of like a testing grounds now for Bandai. Um, I think they're kind of tweaking things, changing things, and it's starting to break things. But I think they're doing so and they're implementing these different systems and stuff, getting player feedback because I do think eventually a Xenoverse 3 is going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But I think that's the reason why they're kind of fucking around a little bit too much and it is causing things to break. Now, I have not spent that much time online. Occasionally I will run like some PQs either with some lower level players because PQs is never really something that I cared to do. Like, if there was a move that I was really excited about and I really wanted it, then I would grind that PQ, then I would hop online with people because it's always easier to do. I mean, well, sometimes. Sometimes it's easier to do with people online, other times it's just easier to have a like So I don't know what you guys run, but normally I will run Super Saiyan Blue Vegito and the Dragon Ball Super Broly, the when he's in his like berserker state. Um, those are my go-tos when I'm offline. Just has just have a computer as an ally because like Vegito is really good at dealing damage and um what's his name? Broly is a really good tank, and that kind of keeps the heat off me because I'm usually either using like Ultra Instinct and I get in a bad spot and I get my stamina knocked or some shit because I wasn't paying attention because I do that shit. I play Xenoverse 2 with my brain turned off and I really shouldn't because I usually get caught lacking all the time because of that.
You can see on the screen right here, the rooms just randomly disconnect in PvP, player versus player matches online against other players in Xenoverse 2. Expert missions just crash or don't load up or don't finish properly, and which, to Bandai's detriment, STP medals aren't working properly in a sense of you can use TP medals or STP medals, which STP medals can be purchased. You can no longer purchase the regular TP medals, so it's just a time efficiency thing, at least for me to get to buy a ton of STP.
Is that a problem or is that on purpose? I don't really know. I don't know if that's really a problem because like I think it's just a way that they've kind of made it so that you can either earn it or you can use like a microtransaction, use your own money to buy it. Um, which to be fair, y'all can hate on me if you want, but I am that guy. Okay. Um, I'm definitely somebody who is willing to spend a little bit of money so I don't have to waste a bunch of time because the one thing this is what I want everybody to keep important, right? I will never be a stonewall advocate of microtransactions, okay? However, one thing you do not have unlimited of is time. Okay? That's the reality. Okay? Nobody knows when their time is up. So if it means it makes my life more time efficient to drop 20 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks on a game, then I'm going to do that. Now, there are games that absolutely take advantage of this, and it's outright fucking despicable. And I'm looking mainly at Grand Theft Auto, okay? GTA Online is an absolute fucking shit show. And the problem with that though is because GTA Online, no offense, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of intelligent people that play GTA Online, but they're fishing the bottom of the barrel, okay? I mean, and I don't mean regular fishing. I mean they're in those whaling boats fishing. Like if they're casting nets, they're catching everything. um that's that's the problem, right? So their business model will absolutely work 100% of the time on those type of people. But those type of people are also too stupid to take our advice when we tell them that they're getting scammed and they need to ask Rockstar to give them more for the money that they're spending on this game. You got to keep in mind GTA is a game that you have to pay for. That's not a free game. This isn't Apex Legends, okay? Where you're going into it free and then you pay money to fucking continue to fucking get things, right? In GTA, you have already paid to get in. You've now paid to set up a way to make in-game money. And those in-game money ways, when they do make you too good of money, Rockstar either nerfs or bans outright, which I could make a whole video on this. I'm not going to keep ranting on it, but the point is, it's definitely predatory on a business sense from some places. Xenoverse 2 has been very good about not being that way, but giving you the option to play said way if that's what you choose. I do have some STP medals that I did purchase because I would like to have them. Maybe they will come out with a transformation at some point and you have to use STPs to buy it. Perfect. I already have them banked up. Just whenever it drops, I'll get it. and then I can play around, maybe make some different builds, have a little fun.
TP medals and use them if and when I need them. You can use TP, or in this case STP medals, to make a quest easier to complete. For example, when you want to rerun the quest to get the last few skills, artwork, super souls, clothing, or what have you that you need.
Oh, one thing I do want to say, I don't know if he's going to bring it up, but there is different store inventories for STP and TP metals. I will say that. I have noticed this several times, like each week when I kind of check in to kind of just see if there's anything that I want. The inventories in the STP shop versus the TP shop are always different.
To get from a specific mission, in this case from a payload quest. You can use STP medals to make the missions easier to do because the punches take more damage and all that good stuff. But then, as you can see right here, when the mission ends, before it goes to the end screen results, like with the win criteria that you've got and all that good stuff, right here it just says, oh, cannot update STP information, so you'll be reset back to the pre-quest position or whatever it says, meaning that I could have got the last thing I needed here. I think it was an artwork, I can't remember, but I had to redo this mission to then get it. I've since got it, but even the premium in-game micro transactions, currency, whatever you want to call it, isn't fit for purpose right now because it's literally not even Nella's finish.
That's
Again, there is
bad.
a chance that by
I think that's 100% a server issue and an application issue on Bandai's side. They dropped the ball heavy here. I mean, that's what's even happening with that?
the time at least this video that you're watching right now is a blow.
STP metal purchase failed because the network connection was lost. Because the STP metal purchase could not be completed, you cannot proceed with the quest. You will be returned to your pre. Wow. What is going on? This is bad. This is horrible. There is no fucking reason that STPs that are earned in game. Hold on. Yeah, there's no reason that something purchased should have any effect on gameplay. One of the biggest killers of any game, anytime ever, has been gameplay. Either the rise or the fall in gameplay. Two examples. The fall of gameplay is I would say probably the fall in gameplay is probably Dragon's Dogma 2. Because like it was fun and then it just got shit and it was just kinda like, alright, whatever. Um Starfield gameplay was shit. What else? What else was shit? I haven't played Dragon Age Veilguard, so I can't count on that. I know the dialogue is shit, and I'm not even talking about the woke stuff. I'm just the dialogue in general. It's like a 2-year-old wrote that shit. Um, but I'm trying to think. A game that had a rise in gameplay that was bad off the rip was Cyberpunk 2077. That game was dog shit for a long time, but they CD Projekt Red pulled that around big time, and it turned out to be like it's actually probably top 5 favorite game for me of all time. I freaking love that game. I still play it. I have it modded up right now. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, Xenoverse 2 actually had really good gameplay for a while as well, but clearly, if you're an online player, you are just getting punished right now.
Did it could be fixed, but man, the game online is actually, at least to some degree, legitimately unplayable. What you are seeing right now is the Steam database, DB, whatever it's called, of how many people are playing Xenoverse.
Eh, oh well, about that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh no. Xenoverse 2. Oh, this is another thing. I'm gonna bring it up right now. What the is this? So when I looked up Xenoverse 2, all of this came up. Why? This is another fucking problem for me for Xenoverse 2 as a game. Bandai, package all your shit in this file, in the Xenoverse 2 main game file. Take all your DLC, shove them in there. The one thing that pissed me off because I have Xenoverse 2 on the Xbox. The one thing that pissed me off is the fact that there's a brand new download anytime I went and purchased anything inside the fucking store. It pissed me off. Just patch it into the main game file. What are we talking about? This is not rocket science, bro. You're a massive studio. You have budget. Use it wisely. Trim the edges. Make the fucking game not only function, because apparently it's not functioning at all right now, but all of this should not be separate from this. This should all be one thing. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because, the Steam charts actually separates this out, which is also Steam charts weird. I don't know why Steam charts does this, but yeah. Yeah, it's fucking wild to me. But yeah, it's constantly losing players. Let's look at the last 48 hours. Last 48 hours, we have a little bit of a drop. It does maintain though. I will say this, it does maintain as we see up here, but it is definitely going down. When did he make this video? 4 days ago. So in 4 days, 19k players to 13k players. Everybody's leaving because the game does not fucking function. That's pretty blatantly obvious that they've essentially abandoned this game.
Verse 2 right now and since release and the history of, since people have been playing it. I'm recording this here in early, let's say the 11th or 12th, 12th actually, of January 2025. Again, recording a little bit in advance, don't worry about it. You can see it right here.
That's
Since
crazy.
October, or really since, October 2024, which was the month Dragon Ball Sparking Zero released, people have just been leaving Xenoverse 2. I think the worst that's ever happened. People now.
I mean, we all knew this was going to happen, right? It's the newest Dragon Ball game. Actually, let's see how Sparking Zero's doing right now. So if we look up Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, oops. Oh, because I didn't put a space? Are you serious? Yeah, so Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is also not doing good at all. 48 hours though, they've gone back up. I think right about here is when people started jumping ship. It would be like right around here. It's when people were jumping ship because everybody was tired of the fucking stupid counter spam bullshit. And then finally the patch came in and then people started hearing about it, so it started to climb its way back up. But either way, it's not going to get anywhere near that. It had a lot of hype going into it, but yeah, I think most of these players just they went on to do other games, and maybe some of them returned to Xenoverse 2, but for the most part, I really don't see that happening. But yeah, Xenoverse 2 is definitely consistently just losing players.
It might not be because of Sparking Zero, but it's a bit of a coincidence how it's only happened really for the most part since the release of Sparking Zero, with November and December 2024 basically just having essentially the same amount of players, even though Future Saga Chapter 2 DLC 18 for Xenoverse 2 came out in November of 2024. People were not returning. I'm only bringing this up because I think this is the lowest it's been either ever or for a very, 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 very long time. And I want to mention this because
One thing I will say is that I do not think that they're going to try to revive the game. I think they're just going to let it die. Just because I do think that they're shifted focus already towards a new Xenoverse, which is which is going to take up all their energy. They're not going to give a shit what happens in Xenoverse 2 anymore. Um, I would be okay with being proven wrong, but at the end of the day, this is an old game. I don't want a GTA 6 this fucking game, okay? I would rather this game just die and then they bring out Xenoverse 3 and they take what they did wrong in this game and fix it for the next one.
one way which we can see right here to bring people back to Xenoverse 2 is to add new awoken skills. The reason I say that, you can see here, March 2023, 4,274 people playing at the peak, and it was a month that had plus people playing. With that,
What did I say? This is why I said that the auras feel like a slap in the face. Because like you could even make up transformations. You could just fucking beep, 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 make them up. You can make a pseudo ultra Jiren transformation when he fucking busts out of his shirt and he's got the red aura that looks opposite of Goku's. Like you could even make that up. You can make a God of Destruction transformation. Like it's there. The answer's in front of you. You're just not implementing. And the ones that you are implementing, you're implementing to such a small degree that it's a slap in the face. I don't want to run around with the legendary Super Saiyan aura. I don't care. What is that going to do? Oh, it's going to make me look cool in the lobby? Who gives a about that, dude? I want to be in the raids with the boys and all of us popping out different auras and shit looking like Tournament of Power Part 2. You know what I'm saying?
that said, very quickly, this is only, I believe, for the PC. Well, it is for the PC, specifically the Steam version of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2,
Right.
and for those that play it online connected. If you do mods on the PC version like I do, you start it offline, you start Steam offline, so you can actually use them. This
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I forgot about this because you have to do the same thing with Elden Ring. Um, in order to do different modded stuff with Bandai, which I'm surprised that like more games aren't just like automatically putting like mod implementation into their game. Um, I could see like two. No, not really. I can only see like one reason where that might become a bad thing because then it would give people um it would give the company too much slack to just not really put that much effort in and expect the modding community to kind of do all the work, I guess.
This would be a much higher number if it also included that, but it's not. It's just for the people who play Xenoverse 2 on Steam while connected to the Steam server, so you can therefore connect to the Bandai Xenoverse what have you server. But you
Right.
see here, in March 2023, this is the month that added the free update that added the Beast Awoken skill for custom characters in
I've been saying it. I've been saying it. Every single one of these pluses, not these smaller ones, but these bigger ones, that's when new awoken skills happen because that's when people go and make builds, they go and want to play their friends and cuz Xenoverse 2 is a really good platform to try out these different moves and it really makes you feel like you're the character because it's your character. That's the reason why Sparking Zero falls short, not only because it's like a very linear fucking game. It's a very point blank. Xenoverse 2 is a much more creative, it's much more open, it's much more putting your own twist on things. Obviously, when it comes to PvP, there's always a meta. But me and my friends, I don't remember the last time I made a meta anything in that game. because I just like fucking around. I like enjoying it, and I like making some wacky shit. And the more transformations you have, the more wacky shit you can make.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. This was between DLCs. This was between Hero of Justice Pack 1 and Hero of Justice Pack 2, which
True.
even those DLCs didn't really do much, to get people back into the game. Then going forward by a couple of months to October 2023, also over 4,000 people playing, 4,671 at the peak, which was also a free update that also added an awoken skill, that being the Ultra Instinct awoken skill for all custom characters.
Big
not
one.
just Saints, and it also added the first Festival of Universes event, but that's whatever. So since then, it's not really had it's not a case of not really, it's just not got that many people playing at once. This is like a good snapshot for other consoles as well. I know on the PS4 PS5 version there's more than a few thousand people playing it. Just look at the raids, right? Like there's at least a couple, like tens of thousands of people that have actually done the raids. That's just online stuff. So what I'm getting at here is to get people returning or starting playing the game for the first time, simply from the information we have right here, just add new awoken skills as part of free updates. Where's Super Saiyan 4? Where's Super Saiyan Rose? Where's the Namekian Orange transformation? Where's maybe Super Saiyan Rage? Where's Pure Progress and Super Saiyan Blue?
Almost like I know what I'm talking about. Also,
and times 10.
Super Saiyan Rage is such a clowned fucking transformation. Its actual only use would be to be implemented into the game, because that would actually like get people into it, because there's like a weird like minority community that's like standing this.
10 for custom characters. That's just me spitballing right there. Hopefully there's gonna be more updates that give
All right, holy shit,
us a welcome
your boy had to piss.
skills. As you can see, it legitimately does increase people playing the game, therefore adding more life into Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. And up next we have, please add a slider when talking to Tosok in Konton City to level up. For the purposes of this video, I decided to firstly back up my save data in the PlayStation Plus cloud so I wouldn't lose any of my Zenny, TP medals, STP medals, whatever they're called, or anything like that. I then made a brand new character, Cold Cack CAC on G Fuel, by the way, to save at least 20% off, maybe 30%. Had to get that plug in there somewhere. Again, Cold Cack CAC on checkout for at least 20% off. But it took me from level 1 to the max level as of right now, level 140. It took me about, give or take, 16 and a half minutes. 16 minutes, 32, I think the final time is. It's on the screen right now, it will be in a moment. That's to get from level 1 to 140. We know the level is going to be increased later on to level 199. When you go to level 200 plus, we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to take longer to do that in the future. And by the way, that's not including the loading time. That's not including, making the character, the appearance, the settings, all of that, the voice. That's not including putting the equipment on, the stats, adding the stats, the moveset. That's just talking to Tosok and speaking to him and clicking the inputs as fast as I humanly could. And yeah, 6.5 minutes to get to level up 139 times.
Damn.
It's gonna take probably like 25 minutes by the time it gets to level 100.
See, this is why I'm a casual, because I have one character that's over 100. That's it. Everybody else is at like 70.
The 99. So please let us have a feature
In a few 30s.
add it so we can just.
I mean, it's kind of a small critique, right? Because that's not bringing players back in. I'm gonna be honest. That this isn't a change. I mean, it's a good quality of life change, but it's not a change that's gonna be like, oh, well, now we got an extra 1,000 players that are coming in because we changed a slider on one thing.
Just use a slider to level up to the max level that we are at on other characters. So if you're not at level 140, obviously you can't get there. Maybe do it like that, and then make it so you can decide if to use Zenny and then TP medals and or STP medals later on, so you can just instantly go from level 1 or whatever level you are to the highest level that your highest level character is. Please, this is such, like, please, I just need this. 16 and a half minutes, dude. Started off number one on this list, one that is undoubtedly universally agreed on, because I've never actually seen not even one comment or one person say the contrary. Please, oh please, can we please in Xenoverse 2 get more custom character slots? As of right now, we can only make up to 8 custom characters in Xenoverse 2 before we then have to delete one of them to then make another one. Going back now to the original Xenoverse game.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. More character slots is always helpful. Is again? It's another quality of life change that's good, but it's not a quality of life change that's going to bring you a bunch of players. It's 100% new content is the problem because the new content that they're bringing out is good for like it's good if it was like the first couple years that the game's been out, but we're almost at the 10 year. We're almost at the 10 year that this game has been around since 2016. Okay. So the only thing that we want now is ultra exciting shit. Okay. We want new transformations. We want new transformations. We want, I don't know, probably a bunch of, well, we want the online to work. That's a big one. I mean, your game has to be playable. If you are going to introduce a purchasable currency in the game, there actually has to be a market for which people want to purchase said currency to buy things. The market for it is dog shit. There's no special moves. I mean, even if they wanted to funnel out transformations that way, because then the transformations basically pay for themselves. If you locked it behind an STP wall, I'm not recommending this because I do think that you have to. Let's say you would fucking for a free update, you gave out the evil transformation, right? Like the crazy one that like gives them like the glowing red eyes and all that shit. If you did that for custom characters, I think that would be awesome. That would be a good free update transformation. But maybe a paywalled transformation is Orange Piccolo would give reason for people to get STP medals. It would create a market for said currency to be used. Right now, there's not really, every time I go through the shops and stuff, and then I look up like, okay, what's new with this update? There's nothing there. I mean, nothing. I don't care about anything. And then it irks me even more when these auras come out. And I was like, okay, so they have the auras for these transformations because they exist in the game already, but they just don't want to go through the effort of matching them to our characters so then we can use them. And I know there's more to it, right? Because you have to implement it and then you have to test it and you have to make sure it's not completely whacked. But you can always you can always release it. It could be OP and then you can tweak it from there because it doesn't. One thing that I know for a fact is that no matter how many times it's tested, every time it's released to the public, the players are always the ones to figure out how to break it. Always. I've never seen a good game tester in my life. Never once. It's always been the players because the players are coming in with a different mindset. Game testers, they don't have that mindset. Once you play so many games, you have a very like cookie cutter mindset on how you test games, and that's not going to be the way that the person who buys it when it hits shelves is going to play it. And that's why they break the game and they show you where the bugs are.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, Dragon Ball
It's
Xenoverse,
why
whatever you
we
want to
have
call it, you
betas,
could also
alphas,
only make
early
up to 8
access,
characters in that game.
is to
Now,
test
for
these
Xenoverse
things with
1, I
real
kind
gamers.
of get it. Kind of. They barely, just barely, get a pass in Xenoverse 1 because in Xenoverse 1, you can make up to, well, 8 characters. Those be.
Also, my quality of life change, give me an option to not have Fat Boo. Okay? We have a Boohan, we have a Super Boo, we had an evil skinny Boo. Give me different dimensions for Boo, please. All right. I like the idea of purification and transforming into Kid Buu. That's fun. I enjoy that. Keep that. However, give me the option to change the regular state of Boo. So I'm not looking at a fat chonk boy when I'm trying to fucking, get to the max level with a Boo character. That's why I don't have one.
And it's 8 because then you can make one of each race and gender, so one male and female Saiyan, a male and female Margin, a male and female Earthling.
That is true. I don't have a single female character because I literally don't have room for any more characters. I have two Namekians, two Frieza Rays. I think you have three or four Saiyans. No, three Saiyans. Three Saiyans? I think three Saiyans. And then I feel like oh, an Earthling. An Earthling. I have an Earthling.
A Namekian and a Freeze Race. And of course, in Xenoverse 2 as well, you don't have to make one of each. You can make 7 Namekians and 1 Freezer Race should you wish to do so. In Xenoverse 1, I understand it, I get it, I prefer more, but you know what? For Xenoverse 1, the original Xenoverse, it barely just gets a pass. However, in Xenoverse 2, sure, you can, at least as of right now, can only, well, there's 8 different options for making a character. Once again, a male and female Saiyan, a male and female Margin, a male and female.
I mean, obviously, like, one thing you have to take into account is that we're looking at this in hindsight. I think Xenoverse 3 is going to have a whole different outlook on it because now that we have had hindsight, we have had growing pains with Xenoverse 2, that in the next game, they probably will have an android race. They probably will have a now that we have Dragon Ball Daima, they probably gonna expand on the Majins. They're probably gonna give you the Glind race, where you can be kind of like a Kaioshin, you know? Um, these things probably will be expanded upon. Um, but for right now, for what we got, you know, it's it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent.
Earthling, I forget what I said, and a mech in the freeze race, you guys know. So you can make up to 8 and any mix of them if you want. In Xenoverse 2 compared to Xenoverse 1, you can run and use characters so differently compared to Xenoverse 1 with so many different options. I don't know a single person who has made 8 characters and all 8 of those are the 8 available options. I'm sure it's happened, but man, at this point, can we please.
No, no, he's right. He's right. I even in Xenoverse 1, I did very specific options. Actually, my fun fact, my Xenoverse 1 character is a Namekian. I chose a Namekian in the first game.
Please get at
I
least
chose a Saiyan in this game though.
20 in total. Now, given when the hero card was being updated, given that you could, buy more, what I forget what them called, like character slots for summoning, but it cost TP miles, which you could buy with real money. I don't know why they haven't done that for slots in Xenoverse 2. Now, again, I'd say make them available for free. Give us 20, give us 12 more. 20 is plenty, I think. I'd say more as well, but whatever.
I would say here's what I'd say because I do think that it's not completely unfair. Uh, I would like them to earn some money and then take that money and flip it not only into Xenoverse 3, but also flip it into giving us transformations for Xenoverse 2 to tide us over to Xenoverse 3. Because I want them to implement it in Xenoverse 2. Because if you break Xenoverse 2, it's not going to hurt Xenoverse 3 because you know how to fix it. So I would rather Xenoverse 2 be the guinea pig. So if they could give us, so we have 8 right now. If they gave us 4 more slots and then they give us 8 more purchasable slots, I think that's the best way to go about it because then that can go kind of back into, and then what I would rather have is we pay for small mundane shit like this and then we get free transformations. That's what I want. I don't want the transformation behind the paywall. Um, Now, granted, I would be okay with it. I would be 100% okay with it if they wanted to put it behind a paywall because that would give the paywall a market, as I discussed earlier. However, Yeah, that's just my opinion.
But you can then even put it,
Strap
and I
in. It's gonna
wouldn't
be a
like
long
this,
video.
but they technically could lock this behind
Let me know what your favorite ice cream is in the comments if you made it this far so far.
TP medals and or STP medals. I don't know why they've not done this. I really don't. I don't think it's something that will be game breaking, but whatever. Let's now move on to number 2. To further increase the customization that we have right now in Xenoverse 2, there should be an option in addition to what we have right now for, well, for us to use like a sort of like RGB color slider again, in addition to the options we have right now. Maybe we can click on any sort of color option, then use the slider to further customize it.
Don't think they're gonna do anything like this. That's a very quality of life change. Like I said before, um, if they do implement any more changes into the game aside from fixing shit that they broke, um, it's not going to be something that is quality of life related. It's probably gonna be probably try to bring the fans back sort of content. So I admire the request, and it probably will be a request that will be implemented or pushed upon in the next game. But like for now, I really I'll be surprised if they do a quality of life changes like that.
I forget off the top of my head because it's been about 10 years since I
I
played
do agree though, a
Dragon Ball
slider would be
Z,
very nice.
Battle of Z, but I think Battle of Z had this. If Battle of Z, of all games, of all Dragon Ball games, had like an RNG or what it's called, like slider color thing, there's absolutely zero reason why Xenoverse 1 shouldn't have, well, should have it. And with that said, should be in Xenoverse 2. I think this would be quite an easy one to add, to be honest, but again, I don't know how game development works, so we'll leave it as that right now. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this one specifically in the comments of the video. You should be able to skip the dialogue in parallel quests. Now with this,
Now this would be a quality of life change that would maybe bring some players back, or at least make current players more open to doing PQs. Because PQs, I'm gonna be honest, after you've done it the first couple times, it's such a fucking time sink. Because sometimes the dialogue is like a fucking uh it's like one of those turn-based fucking Persona 5 type shit. Listening to an hour of dialogue before I can move on to the next fucking thing that's gonna actually interest me.
well, I'd make it work. I wouldn't mind either way, but the way I would make it work is that for the very first time that you play through the parallel quest, you can't do it, so you have to like experience it. I think that's fair enough, but then on your second, third, or after that, as many playthroughs as you do on the mission to unlock stuff, there should be an option to skip the dialogue. Do you know what? Also, maybe make it so that option becomes available if you have already completed the parallel quest with both a Z rank
Yeah, I think making it more time valuable it would definitely be in their best interest.
and with the ultimate finish. So it's like there's like more incentive to do that. So if this was online as well, I'd leave this up to the host of the lobby. But
So this is actually interesting. So he's running. I'm assuming he's running Goku, Super Saiyan 4, and Orange Piccolo, and Whis is probably the regular computer because he's saying a bunch of shit. So that's interesting. Interesting run. I never tried this pair before.
I'm sure there's probably a different way to work it out. But once we've completed the parallel quest, and let's just say for the purpose of this video, with a Z rank and, not and or, but and with an ultimate finish on following playthroughs, we then should be able to skip the dialogue. Some of the parallel quests, especially from the Future Saga Chapter 1, DLC 17, update, full Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, as of this recording and upload, I still haven't got all the artworks from those parallel quests because of just how much of a grind it is and just waiting. If you don't know, the parallel quest will progress once you do a certain amount of damage on characters or even defeat them, and then even if they're defeated, you just have to wait for them to basically finish yapping. So yeah, Z rank, ultimate finish on a playthrough, on a parallel quest, then for following playthroughs to unlock skills faster and hopefully easier, we should have the option to like hold a
Yeah, making it time friendly would definitely be best case.
certain input down to then fast forward through the dialogue like what you can do in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. If you get a Z rank with an ultimate finish on a parallel quest, that should absolutely guarantee that you get at least one non-repeatable item, as in
This so now that we have hindsight and the fact that they have pushed out so much stuff, and not only that, but with all these DLCs, they have also spread the amount of content and different things for you to do. Um, one thing that shouldn't be punished, and it's a massive time waste, is gotcha pulling the fucking moves. I find it very annoying that I paid money for this game. I spend I think I'm actually probably over 300 hours into this game. Um, just, and a lot of it is, and it's gotten somewhat better, but I don't like the fact that it really does waste your time with this aspect of the game. Now, artworks and stuff, I don't really give a fuck about the artwork. I don't care about artwork. I think it's a waste of time. The only thing I care about is skills and transformations, usable, tangible things that I feel like I've gotten and I want to use, right? And I think artworks are good for like a bonus thing, but they should never be the main reward for a quest. I think the main reward should be either a skill or maybe like a super soul or something that you've been really wanting for your character. Uh, but other than that, that's another thing they could improve upon is adding more super souls that are benefiting transformations that are considered weaker.
artwork or skills. It doesn't have to just be one, but at least one to maybe one and maybe a few more, depending if you get lucky. And also have it so you also get some of the repeatable stuff like clothing, material items, or what have you. But yeah, if you get a Z rank with an ultimate finish, and I forget off the top of my head if you can get a Z rank without an ultimate finish on parallel quests. I don't know. But regardless, if you get a Z rank
I don't know how it
with
works
an
either.
ultimate finish on
I have not given a shit on what rank I get for any quest. I'm just like, oh, I got a Z, cool.
any parallel quest, that should guarantee
I usually just like I just wait and then I enjoy the bants of like whatever my mentor says, whether it's good or bad.
you to get at least one non-repeatable item. Again, artwork and or skills. There is a literal information board in Conton City in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 that gives you info on like the scoreboard, ranking, stuff like that. But they should update it so it has information and the rewards for the current raid that would be ongoing at a specific time. So as of, let's say if the tape right now, if it's available, you'll be able to go into Conton City when the raid's on or as it's about to start, like when they announce it on the official Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 website, and it should tell you what the rewards are and how many points you need to get for said reward instead of going to the website. Now, I don't really mind the website. I've got it bookmarked, so
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked at this in like a year probably. I don't think I've ever looked at the information board at all.
I check it once or twice a day just in case anything new pops up and all that good stuff. But given that we've got a literal information board in game, in Conton City, in Xenoverse 2, I don't know why they don't update this. I believe they update it with the TP Metal Store information, but why they don't do it for the actual rewards that are available from getting certain points in a raid, I really don't quite know why they haven't done that. At least why they haven't done that yet. Next up, we have stackable sets of Dragon Balls. As of right now, in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, you can only have up to one full set, or rather just one each, of the 7 Dragon Balls. I don't understand this. It doesn't even make much sense from like a lore perspective if you really want to go that far, because I mean everyone in Conton City can have a full set of Dragon Balls and summon Shenron infinitely, right? If there's like 500 people in the lobby, everyone can get a full set. It doesn't make sense. Dragon Balls aren't even that overpowered. Well, they're actually not overpowered, to be honest, especially even mid to late and like super late end
Well, I'm just like wondering, like, why would you want to keep them? I just I don't know. If I got all 7 Dragon Balls and there wasn't anything I wanted to use them on, I would just, like, I don't know, get, like, TP medals or get, like, a million zenny or whatever. Like, I just what? Like, I guess I'm confused on, like, why would you wanna hold them in your inventory when, like, there's no benefit to you keeping them? It would be different if they were, like if they were still putting out, like, new wishes, then, like, you could potentially farm them and then have a bunch of them to make, you know, different wishes, right? But other than that, there's really no purpose on, like, holding them in your inventory. You might as well just go fucking use them. Go get some TPs or something, you know?
game. The way it works right now, you get a full set of Dragon Balls, but if you then receive Dragon Balls as like a gift from like an event or what have you, you can technically accept them, but they just vanish. It doesn't say, oh, you've already got them, they just vanish. Please allow us to have up to 99 sets of Dragon Balls so we can just grind them whenever. So if and when we need them, we have them ready to go. Please. Look, and I do remember getting a while ago, because it's not the first time I've asked for this, but I did remember a comment a while ago saying how this will be impossible because the game wouldn't know what Dragon Balls you have, so you could like grind for like hours and get 10 sets of Dragon Balls without getting.
Yeah, I do think that I see where he's coming from and I see what he's wanting to do, but I do think it's just unreasonable. I really do. I really just I don't see it because it's like they're not hard to grind for. They're really not. Um, there's like a final form Frieza quest that's like super fucking easy. It's literally just Frieza. You just pop in there. You can either pop in there with people or you can pop in there with computer and go solo. Or you can actually just do it solo, to be honest. Once you're high enough level, you can literally go in there, kill Frieza in like 2, 3 hits, and then after that, the 3 time patrollers show up, and then you fight them, and then bing bong boom, you spent probably 3, 4 minutes on that quest, and generally, they usually get the Dragon Balls within like I think the max I spent on that was like 25 rounds. And that was like just terrible luck of trying to get the Dragon Balls. But for the most part, like, yeah. And another way you could do it is just keeping a character slot open because then you could just make a character real quick and go fight the girl who's at the academy and then you get a Dragon Ball from that and then you go in, delete the character and then do it again and then do it again, then do it again, then do it again. Um yeah. So, I mean, there's several like cheesy ways that you can just instant farm the Dragon Balls. Or not instant, but you can farm them very quickly.
For example, the first star.
So
That
I
makes
just
sense
yeah,
to some
I don't
extent,
really
but not really, because there's a character in Conton City which, if you make a character and then defeat Raditz, you can talk to a character called Sanut by the Orange Star High School in Conton City. And when you fight her, it's a very easy fight. She's at a low level. It's like for beginners to learn the game.
right.
She'll give you a Dragon Ball starting from the 4 star and then cycling through to the 5th, 6th, 7th, first, second, then third, depending on which Dragon Ball in that order you don't have. So that's not an issue. Please, stackable Dragon Balls. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I really don't. Number 4 on my list.
Yeah, I do think it's unreasonable. Um maybe something they could implement in the next game, but as far as like Xenoverse 2, yeah, I think it yeah.
Which is also universally wanted. More
It's another one of those things like this is the last time I'm going to touch on this, but it's another one of those things like where if there was a much more use out of Shinron, then I could see it. But there's just really not that much for use as far as Shinron goes.
accessory slots. Oh, please. So
This he brings up a really good point here. This, though, I absolutely 100% agree with. The limited to one accessory slot is the most bullshit thing that I've dealt with in this game. There's so many characters that I've wanted to make, and I can't make them because I'm limited to one. Now, I don't know what the proper number should be, whether it would be like 2, because I think 3 might be a little too much. Um, well, no, I actually no. Now that I'm thinking about it, I could see a world where 3 is a thing. You could have like I don't know, Piccolo's turban, Trunks' sword, and then you could have maybe some shades or something, something different, yeah. So I don't know. I see it both ways, but I think 3 is good. I think 3 is a good solid number. It gives you a couple of different customizational options. Obviously, that they can just make sure you're limited on like you're not trying to overlap shit and make it look terrible,
Oh,
breaking
we
the
have to
game and
talk
shit.
about breakers. If Dragon Ball the Breakers can do this, there's absolutely zero reason, nil point, as to why Xenoverse 2 can't. Like, please.
I don't think that Xenoverse 2 is going to implement this. It's too old of a game. Bandai's not going to put that much effort in. Um, I do think that they will push some new content, but it'll be just kind of like intermittent stuff just to kind of tide players over until the next game comes out. And then I think that's when they'll really take this feedback into consideration as far as like a quality life and um especially like this type of level of stuff I think is definitely going to be a Xenoverse 3 implementation.
Please, please, more accessory slots. They could argue, oh well, people wear like 5 different wigs. Bless them if they do that. People who want to make good-looking characters that look cool and all of that, they
No. No, it's easy. You just don't let them. No, I'm serious. It's so easy. You just don't let them. You just say you can only have one scout or you can only have one pair of glasses. You can only have one wig.
they won't do that, or they'll find some way to make it look cool, I guess. But if people want to have like stupid accessories that like the Yamcha wig, the Tianchi wig with the Goku wig, and just like stacking them to make it look like a stupid character. I mean, people do like make dumb looking characters anyway. Like, please, more accessory slots. I can't see why this isn't added. I really can't. Offline parallel quest continuations, please. Oh, please. Oh, please. So what I mean by this is, as of right now in Xenoverse 2, once you do a parallel quest offline by yourself or have you then instantly go back to Canton City. And if you want to redo that mission, you then have to wait for it to load in, go back to Canton.
Oh, yep. This is another time sync issue. So a lot of the issues that I've seen him bring up throughout this video, we're 20 minutes in. Um, a lot of them are time management issues where he feels like his time has been wasted. And I can absolutely get behind that. I absolutely understand that and see where he is coming from. But this is why I raised you the point that this is a almost 10-year-old game. I do not think that they are going to implement half, if any, of this into the game this late. At this point, the ship is sunk, and I think they're just going to let it sink, and they're going to keep their attention focused on the next game, and that is when they will implement these sort of changes.
City, talk to the robot again, select the mission, wait again for it to load,
At least they should. Let me preface, at least they should.
then select the characters you want to use on that mission, click OK, then once again wait for it to load, then redo the mission. The way I'd make it work is that once you complete the mission, the parallel quest in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 offline, I would then make it so there's option to either return to Canton City or to retry the mission. Again, this will just make it a little bit easier and more convenient for getting skill, or getting any items really from any of the parallel quests in Dragon Ball a Xenoverse 2. Now, online, it's slightly easier because if I remember at least, online, once you finish the mission, you return back to the lobby, so you can just ready up instantly. So again, for offline play, offline as in doing it on your own, or if you don't have online to do it, online. For offline, complete the mission, then have the option return to Content City at the bottom or retry. You can either have a third option to go to a different payload quest and then have the payload quest selection pop up right.
You could have all three. I could see a perfect scenario where you can have all three. It would be no different than the system that they set up for what the hell was it called? They have a similar system set up already for you and other players to do multiple quests, and then you just kind of vote on what you want to do. That could be easily implemented for an offline version, and then you don't even have to worry about the voting part. You literally just hop into the same similar screen. You go, you pick your quest, and you grab your two computer teammates, and then you jump into the next one. Or it could be a thing where you could set up a series to go in a row. Um, yeah, it's something that can be easily implemented, but again, I don't see it happening for this game. I do. It is a very good idea for the next game, though.
Right there on the end of that mission to go to the next one. Again, just optimizing what's already there in Xenoverse 2, hence the theme of it being a quality of life update. The time
Right.
space delivery system in Conton City in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is very outdated. This is basically a PS3 era of a system, because it was in Xenoverse 1. Xenoverse 1 is a PS3 game, let's be fair. Xenoverse 2, to some extent, is a PS3 game, kind of. This needs to be vastly upgraded and changed for the following features, in my opinion. Firstly, have the ability to accept every gift at once, not every gift on the page, every single gift at once. On, let's say you got 10 pages of rewards, I want to accept all of them at the same time instead of doing it 10 times. And the footage you can see here, it looks like it's freezing. It's not, well, it's freezing. I couldn't do anything. Like, it took ages for it to, I guess, acknowledge what I want it to do. Have the ability.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to the fact that it's an old game. Um, Obviously, with the next game, it will be better, but with this one, it's no different than like if you go back and you play Xenoverse and you go through something similar to this where you're taking in a bunch of stuff at the same time. It's just not built to handle that. And this one now, with how complex it is, because they haven't condensed anything in this game, which is I think is a big mistake and something I hope that they correct. Is they didn't condense anything. They just added more, and yeah, that's obviously going to cause issues.
To get every gift at once, and also the ability to disregard or to, I guess, like, give away, or well, not give away, but to remove items here. For example, I can't accept some items because I've got too many of them, I've got max of them. Instead of then having to sell the items, then collect them to get rid of them, or leaving them for 3 months, 90 days, until they automatically, disappear, there should be an option to disregard them, to throw them away, essentially. This has to be upgraded. This is something that I would have thought they would have fixed, or rather upgraded, just from Xenoverse 1 to Xenoverse 2. The ability to change your idle stance animation, please and thank you ever so much. So there's a few ways you could implement this. Maybe make it so you get like a little bit of like an option or what have you, or the ability to change your idle stance in base form. Can also be for the Walking, but for this, let's just go for base form. When you, for example, max out your mental.
I do think if you do anything, you go full custom. I do think if they add anything to the game as far as idle optimization, it should 100% be full custom. Because I would be 100% down to do like an OG Vegeta dance. I think that'd be sick. Um, but yeah, that's just one of those things that something to keep in mind if you're Bandai for the next game.
towards friendship, get Z ranks, all that good stuff. This one's very
This is another one though that I could see them implementing. Like I said, like Xenoverse 2 is in like the perfect state right now to be just kind of a test dummy. It's not incredibly popular anymore. Um, it's on a losing streak, so you're really not going to hurt it anyway. So it'd be a good time to test out transformations, test out idols, test out different systems. Um, get your online working again so you can test them online and then see what's broken, see what's not broken before you add that sort of system and type of thing into the next game.
straightforward. It wouldn't change anything, I don't think. I don't necessarily know if this will make it easier or rather faster to, for example, key cancel. But yeah, the ability to change your idle stance animation, would love that. Technically in the game already via the Beast Awoken and Super Saiyan 3. Number 6 on my list, and again, this is one that I see being requested universally, like universally accepted as something that we want. Please, 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 and I've lost count how many times I've said this. I've even done videos talking about this, full videos. Please update the Crystal Raid mode so the rewards are updated for the most, like I guess like the latest online raids from the previous update. So they should do it now. As of right now, have it so when Future Saga Chapter 2 comes out, they update the Crystal Raid mode so you can get every single online raid reward, even artworks, Super Souls, equipment, accessories like the Ikari Broly wig, the Goku Vegeta snowsuits, the Tientra outfit, the Tapion outfit, as drops from the Crystal Raid mode. And then after each update, also update the Crystal Raid mode to add the previous raids or updates rewards, if that makes sense. This will make this mode probably the most popular mode because people will be playing this to get all these rewards. Like, this seems to me like a no-brainer. But again, if Bandai didn't know before, maybe, hopefully they will know after this video is sent to them with your guys' support. If you are in an online raid and there's a full group of 6 people or a full group of 5 people if you're in an extra raid and everyone but the host of the room readies up, the countdown, the 15-second countdown should then start. If you are the host and you ready up, they automatically start it anyway.
This is another like time sync, time management problem. Is that when I've done like parallel quest tours and raids and anything else, that was a big problem. Was online connectivity was really bad. I mean, obviously it's worse now because you can't even fucking play, but before, can't tell you how many times we'd be stuck on this screen and this person here would just not he would not ready, and we're all just sitting there and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go take a piss. I'm gonna go get some water. We'll go let the dog out. Oh man, it's bad, dude. It really is bad, and it's a massive time waste. And one of the quickest ways to get players to leave your game is when they feel like their time is not being valued.
I'm just saying this because I've had a few times in online raids and even online Pelo Quest where I'll join a lobby and everyone but the host lobbies up, wow, readies up, and he's like, well, what's the point? Have you gone AFK? Okay, we can deal with it if we can all start, because then there's like another minute countdown pretty much of selecting the character, or about 30 seconds or whatever it is. And also for the Crystal Raid mode, everyone has to ready up for that to start. I sometimes do videos, there's a playlist, Crystal Raids or whatever it's called, on the channel. And so you can see it right here. So often everyone will ready up apart from one person, and because it's the Crystal Raid mode, it doesn't start the timer. Everyone has to ready up, and I've had to disband
I do agree with him here. I do agree with him here. This is a big problem.
rooms because people either just do it to troll because it's, guys, that's funny apparently, wasting 2 minutes is hilarious, or people will just do it and go AFK, in which case ready up before.
But again, this is not only an implementation issue, this is also an internet issue. The online connectivity has to be better. It really does. It just needs to be better. It needs to be more fluent.
before you do that, or don't
And
join
it
or
is an older
leave.
game,
Please,
so
if everyone but one person
maybe
readies
they've
up,
already
it should
implemented
start the countdown,
a better
even
system
if
for the
the
next game.
host
Who
of the
knows?
lobby
We
hasn't
won't know
readied
that
up.
till it
A
drops.
true quality of life update for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 would
I also need a proper trailer for the next game. God damn it! I need something to get hype about.
be a search feature. I have mentioned before how we should be able to search
That another solid quality of life.
for items via it being like alphabetical, because I think that'll be easy. So, for example, if you want to know where, as an example, Soul Punisher is, like the ultimate, you'll know it's somewhat towards nearer the bottom than the top for key ultimates, as an example. But also, and I think I mentioned this search
I also like. I don't really. I don't think I've ever used this. If I'm being honest, I usually just. I usually just. I just grab my phone and I'll Google it.
feature before, have it so we can also just type in the name of it, and you'll then jump to that item or that skill or clothing, accessory, etc., etc. Again, this is one that I think should have been in probably Xenoverse 1, given how many clothing options there are and skills. So hopefully this will be added in the next update.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm not really counting on these improvements to come while Xenoverse 2 is still around. I mean, it would be nice. It would for sure be nice. But do I see it happening? Probably not. My only reason for saying this is because one thing that you can say about Bandai Namco as far as like these games have gone, they have vastly improved the game. If you go back and play Xenoverse and then you play Xenoverse 2, the night and day difference is incredibly noticeable. So they have given me enough respect as a player to know that the next game is probably going to be even bigger, even better, even crazier. So because of that, I do believe that they have earned enough respect from me to kind of take a step back and kind of know, okay, this game's not in a good state. Kind of makes sense. Um, Obviously, the online connectivity problem is if your game does not function, that is a problem that needs to be addressed. Um, However, the the other like kind of most of the stuff that he's been talking about has been like time management stuff and quality of life changes. Those you could implement them as an experimental sense, but there really wouldn't be any full on system implementation until the next game because it's just way too much to change now with how long this game has been out.
For a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Number 8, can we please get more active raids happening at the same time? As of right now, in Xenoverse 2, there are 4 types of raids, online raids. You've got the standard one, you've then got the light raid, you've then got the extra raid, which is the trickiest
Right.
one of all 4 that's added so far. Then you've got the rarer one, which is the celebration raid, which I believe, again, at least as of right now, this recording and upload, has only happened.
This is that's too much. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. One of the reasons why I would consider myself a casual is because like I'm not gonna play all these different raids. One of the problems I think Xenoverse 2 has is spreading its content too thin. So like again, I'm gonna compare this game to Grand Theft Auto. It's 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 literally a mile wide, but an inch deep. Like there's so much content and stuff to do, but it's only surface level. It's only to get a new piece of clothing. It's to get a new super soul. It's to get a different type of cosmetic, or maybe it's a demon realm crystal, or it's a something you need for a super strong QQ bang that you're trying to make. This this is my problem. Another thing. that they could do is do content management better. I would rather you simplify the raid system, add more rewards into said raid system, because that not only creates a want and a need to play the raids, but it would also make for you a simpler system as far as like implementing new content and getting people to interact with the things you want them to interact with, because there's so many useless things in Xenoverse 2 that nobody really pays attention to, because like the raids obviously is still a big thing. Um Occasionally PQs become decent if there's uh a move that somebody if there's a move that's pretty popular among most of the player base, then that PQ is gonna go pew! Everybody's gonna want to play it. Um, but for the most part, like a lot of the systems that they put in have been underutilized only due to the fact that there's literally no content behind them that makes it worth doing. I'm not doing this many raids. I'm doing like maybe two or three, depending on what the reward is and if I really, really want it. But this again is it's a late it's a very late game with with changes that I don't think are gonna come in time to really revive the game. So I don't think, yeah, it's just a game late in its years.
once, and that was to celebrate Xenoverse 2 passing over 10 million units shipped.
That's
GG, that
a
was like over a
W.
year ago at this point. Actually, like a year and a half, whatever. These are all in different locations in Canton City, quite far apart from each other, actually. So, what I'd say is don't have them all start and end at the same time. Maybe have it so the next one would start after every 2 days. So you've got people have got time to grind out the previous raid, and this is going to allow more rewards to come back to the game on a more frequent level. And also, it's going to make it so when you have like the breaker week where they don't do a raid and they just do the like the 2 days of the freezer event, then a couple of days of an online tournament, then the Supreme Cove Time event, you would still have one of these events on or one of these raids on. So for the people that have already finished those other events or aren't interested in PvP for the World Tournament, it will just give us something else to do, right? So again, have these.
That's another thing you can do is simplify the raid system and kind of condense it so there's not so many like different types of raids going on. And then on dead weeks when you're not looking to push out a new raid, you could always just re-implement a raid that's already happened and just kind of give people a chance, like a replay raid or something, so that people have a chance to kind of get back into it and try to get the content they missed out on.
I mean, you can just have it sell. There's like a light raid and a normal raid, or a normal raid and an extra raid. Two will be fine, but I don't see a
Yeah, I think normal, you can have like a normal raid, I don't know, a hardcore raid, and I don't know, maybe you put like a hard raid in there. I mean, because you don't really want it to be easy. So yeah, I think jumping from normal to hard and then hardcore and just kind of rename hard and hardcore to two different things so they don't sound so similar. But that would be like the best way to do it, I think.
reason why they should just stick to one. Like, am I crazy in thinking this? Plus, I think this would make Xenoverse and more so the online lobbies just feel a bit more alive. Again, am I wrong on this? I don't think I am, but let me know in the chat. Additional tiers for online raid rewards. As of right now in Xenoverse 2, you'll get some, rewards or items or what have you for getting a total of up to 100,000 points in online raids.
Another thing that they could do, which I didn't even think about, was you could do something like so we have Super Saiyan Blue, right? You could have done Super Saiyan Blue Evolved as a top tier raid reward and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken as a top tier raid reward, which would give you the Kaioken the Kaioken times 10 and the Kaioken times 20 on top of Super Saiyan Blue. And then, of course, you have Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, which is literally right at the same level, but it just it's a different transformation. Um, that would be a good. So this is again creating a demand for player interaction is very important, and why I think you need to simplify the raid system, condense it down to be less raids, less bullshit that you have to sift through. Okay, maybe you just do a normal, and maybe you just do a normal and a hardcore. Okay, so you can try it on the hardcore. Ah, shit. All right, we're getting our ass kicked. Just jump to the normal, and you can grind it on normal. You know what I'm saying? But just make the raid of, make the tier rewards available. But that's why you also, with the STP integration already happening, you could give people the option to purchase these transformations via the STP shop. Say them and their buddies, they're just not cutting it in their fucking raids and they're just getting their ass kicked, and they're tired of trying and they just want to go buy it. Well, there you go. Now you have the option to use STPs, hit the STP shop, buy the transformation there. That being said, there still needs to be some player reward for the amount of money, time, and effort spent in the game. So they should not go away with the free update system that they have in place. I do think giving out Super Saiyan God for free was very awesome and was a huge W. I also think that they could expand upon that in the future with different transformations that are not typical to a goody goody two shoes player. Because one of the things I would have loved to have made, and another thing I did think about that they could implement is promotional material, promotional transformations. This is Xenoverse. It is Xenoverse. It is a chance to bring things that people don't usually get to have fun with into a game. What if we had a transformation that was like Pumbers from Dragon Ball Superheroes? Granted, it's promotional, it's non-canon. You're never going to see it in the official timeline, but because we're in Xenoverse, because our characters are unique to the world of Dragon Ball, why can't we use something that is typically evil for good? It's interesting. It's a good concept. I would love to make an evil Saiyan gone good type shit. Because I mean, the story is always going to steer you towards the path of the hero, right? But I love the idea of coming from a dark place and becoming something better. That's an insane story to tell.
Have it so maybe it goes up to 250,000 points via rewards, and maybe make it so that, well, after 50,000 points right now, the next tier is 100,000 points. So I'd continue that for every 50,000 points up until 250,000. So 50,000 points for reward, then 100,000 points for the next reward as it works right now, then 150,000 points for another reward, then 200,000 points for yet another reward, then finish it off with a reward tier at 250,000 points. And as I mentioned in a previous quality of life update suggestion video, to get stackable Dragon Balls, if they can't do that for whatever reason, have it so one of the later reward tiers, let's say for this video, always at 250,000 points, will always give you a full complete set of all 7 Dragon Balls that will then wait or be sent out via the time-space delivery. You can actually do that right now, where you can have a full set of Dragon Balls, and if you do like an online world tournament or what have you, to get like another full set by getting like between 1st to 5th place in the online Xenoverse 2 world tournaments, or through, if they do like a celebration event or what have you, you can actually, if you have a full set of Dragon Balls as it works right now, you can actually accept another full set of Dragon Balls, but they don't stack. So just be very careful of that. And even if you got, like, for example, the 4-star Dragon Ball, then you accept another 4-star Dragon Ball in the rare times that they are sent out to the, I can't even say it now, to time space delivery, it won't stack. It will just disappear and go into the void that is Xenoverse 2. So how it's sold, 250,000 points will give you a full set of Dragon Balls, so we can then collect them for when we may need them. Yes, they do expire, but it's after 90 days, 3 months. That's not too bad, I don't think. Please update the multiplayer mode, the Parallel Quest Tour mode, so it now adds Parallel Quests from DLC. So far, I believe it's just Parallel Quest 1 to 100. Then
This okay, this is definitely an oversight. I can't think of any reason that this was not an oversight because I was like thinking about it and I was like, well, yeah, fuck. I didn't even think about that. I mean, it should be integrated like seamlessly. It's weird that it wasn't.
Parallel Quest 101 onwards are from paid DLC. I know it might be an issue of people not having the DLC, but then maybe they should just be automatically kicked, or an error coming up saying, oh, one or more people do not have access to this DLC.
I do believe they need to add DLC filtering. 100%. That's been a problem so many times, and one of the things that pushed me away from online is especially when you have a game that has like 18 fucking DLCs, a lot of people aren't gonna have all the DLC. It's just gonna get lost in translation. It's gonna happen, all right? Um, it's nothing on them. It's just the way that the DLC is implemented into the game and why think they need to fucking have it all combined into the main file of the fucking game rather than having it every single one separately downloaded all the time. The reason why it's better to integrate into the main game is because it's easier to root out people who don't have the extra access of content or extra excess of content, I should say. Um, yeah, but I'm really not going to touch much more on that. They do need to add DLC filtering so that I'm not matching up with somebody who has just started the game and owns nothing.
See, just have it there so you can just grind out the super mix capsules, caxels, cold tack on G Fuel CAC, 20% off. Oh, yes,
I'll give you that. W plug.
G Fuel plug right there, rather nice. And then how it's sold, you can also just get like demon crystals. I don't actually know why they didn't add paid DLC to this mode. It seems weird how it's just non DLC.
Yeah, I do feel like that was an oversight. It doesn't make sense for me for it to not be an oversight.
Especially given how this is an online mode only mode. Number 10 on this list, please let us use the locked stages, or the stages, maybe not that are locked, but that are only available in certain quests and or in certain modes, such as the Wiz, like training inside Wiz's staff, which is just a literal skybox, Toki Toki City and the different ports in Toki Toki City you can actually fight on. It can just even make them skyboxes if it's too difficult, right? I actually wouldn't mind that at all. Maybe even Konton City as a skybox. And for example, the Freezer spaceship. Now, going back to I believe it was just before the original Dragon Ball Xenoverse game was released, there was like some sort of like interview or what have you where they basically said how the Freezer spaceship stage won't be usable online or in free play or have you outside of like a couple of parallel quests. And the reason they gave was something like, I'm not quoting them verbatim, but it was that something like how look, they did say it was the camera angle, like camera issues, but I forget exactly what they said.
I do agree with this. There is major camera issues in the ship. Like it's literally my least favorite place to fight in. Um, they could possibly fix it if they turn the ship into the stage itself, which would essentially increase the ship's size to be a proper like arena size. Then that could fix the problem, and then the camera wouldn't be so kind of buggy because you're playing within the confines of very narrow hallways. And when you're in these little rooms off to the side, they're not that big, so you're still having camera issues there, especially when you have moves that cause a lot of movement. Because like you guys saw him, he used I think it's called Soaring Fist, or something similar, where he shoots kind of those kind of clear, kind of just pure key energy shots. but that doesn't require you to move. But there's a lot of moves where you dash at your opponent and like that one Broly move. I can't think of what it's called, but you literally dash toward the opponent, you grab them, you sling them down to the ground, and all of that movement, your camera is just jumping around, going crazy, trying to follow. Um, that is an issue. But the way you mitigate that issue is not by taking away the stage, but simply create the dimensions needed to operate the camera correctly. And then you could turn this ship into a whole stage. Instead of going from outside inside the ship, start inside the ship, just increase the size of the ship.
Okay, fair enough. For Xenoverse 1, maybe it was an oversight. Okay, cool. So then in Xenoverse 2, why is it still in the game as part of the same parallel quests? I say the same parallel quest. I think they've been updated to add new characters like Turles and Lord Slug and all of that.
Yeah, I don't really know how much variety they're going to add because like there's only so much retelling of the same story you can tell. Obviously the twist with Turles and Slug was decent. And I honestly don't even remember what the original story was for Xenoverse. I will have to go back and play it, but um, yeah, I mean they put some decent twists in this one. I do think they have to change it up for the next game, but obviously with the next game they have the entirety of Dragon Ball Super to go off of as well. So they don't have to spend so much time in Z on the next game. They could focus more on Super and just give you a little bit of time in Z to kind of build your character up.
Just change it or
They could focus different moments too. It would be nice if they focused different moments and just keep kind of shifting the moments around.
change it. Just change it if it's that big of an issue. And if it's not that big of an issue, let us use the stage online, offline, even in photo mode. This one is just like so confusing to
Yeah, photo mode's weird. I don't know why they don't have it in photo mode when you literally have full control of the camera. It's kind of weird.
me why it's not added. But you also can't use the excuse that, well, not the excuse, you can't use the reasoning rather, that it's just going to be too tricky to fight on. If we also have stages like the mountain stage, as well as the open field, I think it's called the open field stage, which I've had lots of issues with the camera angles on those stages, hence why for the most part, I don't tend to, again, for the most part, I don't tend to use those stages much online when I'm
The mountain one I know, open field. I'm trying to think of what he means. I don't know. I'd have to look at it in game.
doing videos, fighting trash talkers,
I'm too
etc.
visual for
etc.
this.
Now, I also wouldn't necessarily mind if they make these existing stages playable as part of a paid DLC if it's a like map DLC, like a stage DLC, like a map pack. Where it's also got a couple of brand new stages, such as, for example, off the top of my head, Beerus's Planet as a playable stage, and the Otherworld World Tournament stage. Have some new raids and then make that a DLC pack just for stages. I actually wouldn't really mind that at all. In the same light as adding more custom character slots so we can make more than 8 custom characters in Xenoverse 2, I think we should also be able
Right,
to
he
have
touched on that
more
before.
presets of characters, of our custom characters rather, at least a couple more, maybe making an even 10 with the current clothing, so in total
I don't know. I haven't really found this to be an issue, to be honest. I really haven't.
11, and then also allow us to rename the presets. Apart
Renaming the presets would be nice, but the amount of them, I haven't really had a problem with.
from custom characters, which is like preset 1, preset 2, up till preset 7 or 8, I forget off the top of my head, than the one that you're wearing, the current clothing, I think it's called. Every character has different preset names for their clothing. You've got, for example, Goku in like his gi, Captain Ginyu version. You've got Mira, like the Universe 7, all that. You've got Saiyan armor for Vegeta. So it's something that they can do because it's literally there. And if we want to make, for example,
Yeah. I'm absolutely with him on this.
like I always have to double check, apart from like a handful of my builds, like my first preset on my main character, my super limit breaker build. I always have to check for the most part if it's the right build I'm using. So being able to label and to name the different presets, I think would be extremely useful. I'm not too sure how or even if they could implement this next one, but there should be the ability to change the appearance on presets outside of the clothing and accessory, as in having different hair that isn't a wig, different hair color, all that good stuff. Again, I don't know how they will add this. I imagine it'll be quite complicated, because then what if you then accidentally save over the preset? If they can actually manage to do this, absolutely fantastic. I would rather love that, if I do say so myself.
I'm a believer that breakfast is one of the
Oop. Okay, that was an abrupt ending. Anyway, wow. Well, that was the video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna give him subscribe, give him a like. Make sure you subscribe to me, subscribe to yourself. Most importantly, self love is important these days. This is gonna be a really long video, so I'm gonna end it right here, really quick, abruptly, like this. Okay.